here is in regards to bad ankle sprain. So Beth asked, how soon after a bad ankle sprain can I start running again? So it's a great question. It's a complex answer, but it's a great question. And I guess I'll answer the question with a question, not to be a politician here, but a lot of it would depend on certainly when did the ankle sprain occur and what have you done for it since. Okay, so we typically have a grading system that we can go through for ligament and ankle sprains, and we can say grade 1 through 4. How severe is it? Knowing this individual, this was a pretty severe ankle sprain. So the timetable in terms of 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, that kind of gets thrown out the window a little bit. We can't necessarily, with our higher grade or our more severe ankle sprains, we can't be as predictable in terms of answering that. And I would say that this question goes for ligament sprains, ankle sprains, muscle tears, any of that type of stuff. The answer is similar. Is any of our higher level significant issues or sprains, the timetable gets thrown out the window a little bit. But what happens is we hopefully come along and help you say when is the right time. So the right time would be swelling, right? So has the swelling returned back to prior level of normal, a normal ankle size pre-injury, or what we would classify, within your normal? Sometimes we can compare it to your other side. The reason that's important is swelling can cause all sorts of changes in your muscle activity, and so it can cause changes in how the muscles are functioning, and it certainly can cause changes in the joint performance, and you wouldn't want to be going and doing a lot of high impact on the ankle if there's still a significant amount of swelling in it. The other point B, hey Susan, how are you doing? Thanks for hopping on. Hey Beth, thanks for hopping on. Appreciate it so much. The other question would be, or the other checkpoint to look at is strength, right? So there's some strength tests that we would do on the ankle. We'd want to make sure the muscle function in that ankle sprain is as optimal as possible before we start going and putting a lot of impact on it. Because if you think about somebody that's had a bad ankle sprain or repeated ankle sprains, the challenge is that the ligament probably, for lack of a better terms, isn't doing its job anymore or as well anymore. And so you really need those muscles that surround that ankle and control that ankle. You need those to be optimal and really, really solid. So we'd want to make sure that the strength is there when we test the ankle, and then we'd also want to be able to get you on your feet, challenge your balance and stability a little bit, and actually see how you tolerate some lower impact type activities in the clinic or at home or over video or whatever might work for you. So I know that's a long-winded answer. If I had to say, you could be good to run again after a bad ankle sprain as soon as 3 or 4 weeks, but we'd want to make sure that the swelling is in check and that the strength is back to normal, and then we'd want to test it a little bit with some impact. Another good thing, Beth, to do is go for a walk at a decent pace and see how you respond to that. So if your goal is to run, or you'd like to get back to running, let's say, for simple math, a mile, right? We'll take a fairly decent paced walk at a mile. If you're doing okay after a mile, shoot for 2. And if you respond okay to that, then you may be, on the fringe of starting to think about doing a little bit of light jogging and running again. If you really struggle with a higher paced walk at a mile or 2 miles, you're probably just not quite ready for that impact yet, all right? So there's really 3 phases to that answer. Now, you also asked, do you recommend any specific type of brace to wear? So that's a great question as well. The thing that I would say about that is, as much as possible, we do not, in these 4 walls, I try to have people relying as little as possible on external devices or external supports. Because what can happen is if you become dependent on those, that likely means you're not being overly dependent on your own body and your own muscles, and that can send us down a little bit of a negative cycle. Now, if you just have done everything the right way, you've worked on strength, you've gotten your swelling down, you've trained for impact, you've looked at your hip strength, you've done all that full gauntlet, and you're still having issues, then I do recommend a brace just to help you function and do what you want to do and stay healthy. If you had to go the brace, I'm probably not up to snuff as much lately nowadays with what's out there, but you would probably want some sort of external support more than just a sleeve. There are certain braces that give you some support side to side. There are also the lace-up braces, which you can provide a fair amount of stability. So those would be still okay, but again, keep in mind those are, in these four walls, our last resort, and we want you to do everything to kind of control your own destiny and your own variables before you jump into relying on an external device.